Psychological time traveling is something that we all do, isn't it? When we think back on the date we had, or on the exam that we take that day, or when we think back to our vacations we had last year. It's basically traveling with your thoughts back to the past or to the future. When someone asks you, what are you gonna do next week? And you think about it, you imagine you being next week, you think about all the events you have planned or not planned yet. It's also psychological time traveling. And it's completely normal and natural, we all do that. The problem begins when we don't want to do that, but it still happens, or when we overdo it. For example, when you're brushing your teeth in the morning and suddenly you realize that you're thinking about that one sentence that someone told to you 3 years ago that hurt you very much. For example, you smell bad. And you're washing your teeth and you remember this sentence and you think about it. On the other hand, you can be imagining things that didn't happen yet. For example, you can be thinking about your future job or things that you will just do in the future, like in the future I will start working out. And you sink in that thoughts and you lose the connection to reality because the imaginary reality is more interesting for you. So you choose to stay in it. Even though you may know it's not okay, it's not healthy for you. The thing is, we should take care of our present moment because if we don't, it will just collect, and you will have to take care of those moments one day. And it's better to do in this exact moment they are happening than a week later, 1 year later, when you suddenly realize something that happened and you're still emotionally not okay with the thing because you've been stuck in the thoughts of a different time reality that doesn't have to be. I also have to mention flashbacks. Flashback experienced mostly by people with PTSD or dissociative disorders, but it can be experienced by everyone really. What are flashbacks and what differentiates them from the normal time traveling? I believe that the best way of explaining things is giving examples. So, for example, imagine you're walking in the park and you're just enjoying your time in the nature, you feel peaceful, everything is okay. Suddenly you feel a smell. You may not even know what the smell is. It could be some flower growing nearby, it could be whatever, and it triggers a flashback. And the moment it happens, you're no longer in reality, you're no longer in the present moment. Let's imagine that the person experiencing a flashback had a bad breakup 3 years before the walk in the park, and when they were breaking up, there was this exact flower growing nearby. And so the person feels the smell. The breakup was traumatic for the person because they were really close to each other, they were together for years, or whatever, that the man cheated on them, it could be whatever, just something traumatic. And the moment she feels the flower, the flower scent, it all comes back to her. It's not just a memory, it's not like in the first example, washing your teeth in the bathroom and suddenly you remember, oh, this person told me this bad sentence. It's when you have flashback, you find yourself being in that traumatic experience once again, and you believe that the thing that happened is still happening in this exact moment. You re-experience all the emotions, all the pain. It's just so present for you that you completely lose the connection to reality. You can be confused what year it is, what day it is. You can just be completely lost in your head because the memory consumes you. I also do experience flashbacks, and in my case it's exactly how I said. I just I'm just lost in what is really happening and what is not, because the things in my head are so realistic that, for example, I will give you a real example what really happened some time ago. I was on my way back from the train station to my house. It was dark, it was late in the evening, and suddenly I found myself being 3 years ago me. I was having emotions and thoughts that I knew that I was experiencing back then, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, doesn't matter. And I was convinced that the action that I was thinking about happened this day. And it's been years since it happened. Once I realized that, of course, I broke down, because flashbacks are never anything cool or pleasant. It usually leads to great pain, you know. Now let's leave flashbacks and move into the topic in general. People tend to rethink, re-experience things that already happened because present moment can be scaring them. It's something you do subconsciously, and I also do it a lot. Recently, I'm fighting with it as much as I can, because my psychotherapist told me that she thinks I'm doing it, and I didn't realize until she told me. The thing is, I choose every day to live in the past and rethink the situations that happened, re-experience them, because I preferred the situations that I already knew than the ones that were happening in this moment, because they were scaring me. They were something new, something I didn't experience yet. So I preferred to experience the old ones. Even if the old ones were painful and hurting me, I still preferred them over something unknown. And here I would like to recommend you a book from Eckhart Tolle. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, so I apologize. The book is called The Power of Now, and it's not the easiest book to read. It took me weeks, even though usually I'm a really quick reader. The book teaches us how to stay in the present moment, because it's the best thing we can do. Present moment is the only time where we can change anything, where we can actually do something. What already happened is out of our control. We can't change anything that happened already. We can't predict or create situations for the future. We don't know what future brings, so we can't do anything about it. All we can do is work with the present moment, and that's the only way how to get out of being stuck in the past or in the future. So if you have an issue like that, I would definitely recommend you to read this book. One additional information about the flashbacks: please, if someone tells you that, for example, this thing is my trigger, try not to trigger them, because the trigger may lead to major flashback or breakdown, and it's nothing pleasant. So when someone tells you, this is actually my trigger, respect it and try not to do those things or talk about them, because it's not just a meme, it's not just a joke, it's something really serious. With all that being said, of course, I didn't mean to tell you that you should not think about your past or you should not think about your future, because it's not right. What I mean is, thinking about future and past is normal, as long as you're not hurt by that, as long as you're not emotionally present in the moments that are gone or are yet to happen. So don't neglect these parts of you. Just try to look at them like you're an observer standing on the side, not being in the center, not being affected that much by what you're remembering. And that would be all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope it was enjoyable, at least a little bit. Stay strong, stay present, and see you soon.